Welcome to the Devil's Digest Podcast. I'm your host and DevilsDigest.com publisher, Hod Rabino. There were a few true freshmen that really turned some heads in spring practice, and one of them is my guest today, running back Cardae Mack. Cardae, thank you for joining us. How you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Uh, you know, uh, a lot of fans always ask me, what does the off season look like for football players? And I know really there's no such thing as an off season. You guys are working hard at it, in one way or another. But can you just give us a taste of what the workouts look like from the end of spring practice all the way up until fall camp begins?
Really, I think the biggest thing is like we have a lot of like time after workouts that really plays into like schoolwork. But we practice in the mornings. I mean, we have workouts in the mornings from like 7 to like 12, and then we'll do like extra work if you need to, like more recovery stuff, just stand around a facility, just a lot of extra time that you have right there to work on yourself.
And how does it work? Are there certain days where it's just weight room and certain days where it's just conditioning, or can you guys mix up the two on the same day?
It's more like we just divide it. It's lifting and running in the same day. Most of the
Mhm.
time, every day we'll try to like divide it evenly and just split it up
And
between
uh,
weekends.
and I know I always see those videos every Friday, the big squat Friday. So I'm assuming Friday is all about the weight room, all about that big squat to take you into the weekend.
Yes, sir. It's earn your week. Earn your
Yeah.
week.
And just a curiosity, since you've been here, have you noticed any changes as far as adding weight, losing weight, increasing speed, agility?
I've definitely put on a few pounds being here. I've definitely got took time to adjust to the weather. I'm from Texas, so it's a little different coming from humidity. It's honestly better than humidity, but it's a lot harder to transition from.
Mm. But and as far as your weight, I mean, I know you're listed at, believe 210 on the roster, but are you higher than that right now?
Oh, I'm exactly 210. I didn't know they
Oh,
had me
210.
210.
All
I,
right,
I
I
was
guess I got.
when I was coming in, I was like 202.
Okay.
So I feel like I put on weight since then.
Yeah, I guess whoever's updating the roster is really on top of it. They got your exact weight. Okay, sounds good. Um, Carda, you were really a rarity of not only graduating high school early, but graduating early enough in December that you actually were able to be part of some of the bowl practices before the Sun Bowl. Looking back at that, how much do you think that helped you just with acclimation on the field and off the field, and maybe even with your performance in spring practice?
Just seeing the plays sooner. I feel like a lot of that helps to show like where you need to be at for the competition that you're going to be facing as a high school kid going into college, just that transition and getting the feel of the game and filling out what the players feel for you.
Talk about that first ever practice for Arizona State. What's like the first eye-popping moment that tells you, man, this ain't high school anymore?
The size, definitely the size. I think the guys are a lot bigger than what they were in high school. I would say that they're pretty similar coming from Texas, but at the same time, they're grown men now, so they're a lot bigger.
I know that when I talk to so many players, not only players that come from high school like yourself, but even transfer portal players, they always say that the coaches always keep it real and not only be upfront with you during the recruiting process, but everything they tell you during the recruiting process actually happens once you're part of the team. Can you give me like one or two examples of stuff that coaches told you during the recruiting process, and once you arrived at Arizona State, it was on the money, being true to the words?
The culture. I want to say that's literally the number one thing. Everybody, the day we landed in Arizona, it wasn't like no red carpet stuff. Like they weren't trying to put on like something they weren't in front of everybody. They were exactly who they were every single day from when I met them till when I got here. So they've been the exact same people. The culture, the people, they're just amazing.
Besides the culture, what do you think are some of the other aspects looking back that really sold you on Arizona State during the recruiting process?
Definitely my running back coach. I was I was kind of skeptical at first. Like I didn't know anything about him. Like I didn't know his history, who he had. But as I learned more and more as I got here, it was like a no-brainer. Like I already knew who Coach Dilly was. Coach Dilly was like the best offensive coordinator there was out there. Um, he went to Oregon. Coach Arroyo was the best, one of the best coaches out there. So I already knew about those coaches. But everything played its part.
So when he got to learn more about Sean Aguano, he learned about his track record that every running back that he coached at Arizona State had over 1,000 yards, 1,000 all-purpose yards. Cam Skadden was actually, ironically, his first year at Arizona State, the only guy under Sean Aguano that didn't rush for 1,000 yards, but actually had over 1,000 all-purpose yards. But again, when you talk about credibility, when you talk about a guy that's been there, done that, I got to believe that's another stat when it comes to Sean Aguano that really jumped at you.
Yes, sir. It is. That's a big thing. That's a big factor.
And besides, Sean Aguano, the coach, just talk about the relationship that you had with him, especially during the recruiting process. What are some of the things about his personality that you can look back now and say, yeah, you know what, he really was able to relate to me, and I was able to relate to him because of, personality traits, what have you.
Consistency. Everything he did was consistent. He called me the same time, the same day every week. I would say a lot of the things that he did, he was just very consistent about it. Like the way he talked, he always talked with high energy. Till this day, he still talks with high energy with me, with the other players. Like he's just a positive person all around, and he's very consistent with everything he does.
And would it be fair to say that you see Cam Skadden in the career that he had at Arizona State and even his rookie year with the New York Giants, is that some another aspect you think that looking back played in your decision to come to Tempe?
I'm going to be honest. When I was working towards Arizona State, like I didn't really know anything about any of the players. I just knew about the coaches. So like
Okay.
knowing about Cam Scatterbo didn't come until after my visit and after he got drafted. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I'm old enough to remember a running back by the name of Demario Richard. And I don't know if that name was brought up to you or not because you guys really have the same body build, same running style. Kenny Dillingham was actually a graduate assistant when Demario Richard was a running back at Arizona State. I'm just kind of curious if you heard that name, if you heard about the comparisons or not yet.
No, sir, I have not heard the comparison. The most I've heard about is Benjamin Eno. That was the closest I've gotten.
Benjamin. Yeah, yeah.
No
A
Benjamin.
Texas guy like yourself too, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, but next time you should ask Dilly about Demario Richard and tell him, if you remind him of him. I wonder what his answer would be. Um, you talk about, we talk about Benjamin, a Texas guy like yourself. This whole Texas to Tempe, I always tell people it's more than just a cute hashtag. Is this really part of the culture at Arizona State having so many players from Texas? Is it really just a no-brainer that somebody like yourself comes to Arizona State and sees like 20, 30 players from Texas and really makes you feel at home that much more because you have so much in common with some of your teammates?
Yes, sir, it does. Like Rodney Beamage, he's literally from Houston. He's
Hmm.
from Houston. Maurice Williams, um, Kyson Brown, he's from Dallas, but all Texas guys, they all make you feel very comfortable on where you go.
Do you really feel that, playing high school in Texas, where people say, football's a religion, where it's just, really high stakes? I mean, you got high schools with stadiums of 10,000 seats, and that's not even, a rarity. That's almost like common. I mean, do you think that that's something that can help you in the college level? Because I know there's a lot of things that are different, and like you said, there's some things that really hit you right away that you're not in high school, but just having that pressure environment, do you think that's something that can help you in the college level?
Yes, sir. I feel like that really plays a big factor. Just being a kid from Texas, playing Texas ball, and not only just playing Texas ball, playing in one of the hardest districts in Texas. So I feel like that plays a big factor in just getting your body prepared for the next level and just knowing what you have coming up. Like it's not a certainty that you're gonna win every game. even like in Texas, you're not certain to win every game. It's This is the same way with this level.
Now, what's unique about your story is that not only you played in one of the toughest high school um, leagues in Texas, but you also played quarterback. You threw for over 2,000 yards and 32 touchdowns as a senior. Also had 1,500 yards rushing and 20 touchdowns. Uh, that transition, from quarterback to running back, was that something really easy for you because maybe we're very much a running quarterback that now that you're just playing running back in college, it's really not a big adjustment?
Yes, sir. It makes it so much easier. Just being able to know your job. Like me playing running back, I just have to know my job. That's pretty much straightforward. But even though I still have that quarterback mindset, I kind of want to learn everybody's position. So that's where my curiosity always comes in, and I always just stick my head in everywhere, every other position, so I know what I have to do and what they have to do, just in case they have a question on the field.
And do you really feel that can help your development as a running back in college just because you have this extensive quarterback playing time in high school?
Yes, sir. I feel like that really helps with you being more versatile, just knowing different positions really helps with you getting on the field and seeing different positions. You don't just have to play running back.
One thing that really struck me during spring practices is that the running group is really deep, and
Mhm.
you don't have that Cam Scadaboo alpha male that jumps out right at you. And now you're talking about, okay, who's going to be quarterback, who's going to be running back number two, number three. It's like who's going to be running back number one. I think right now, uh, you know between spring practice and fall camp, we still don't know the answer to that. Just talk to me about the competition from your vantage point during spring practice, where you're trying to get as many reps as possible. Competition level is really, I think, was off the charts for most of spring practice. I mean, for a young player like yourself, how are you able to deal with all those elements?
I just be in the moment. That's all I can really do at this point. Just be in the moment. Just be there for my older guys. I know there's a lot of older guys on the team. This might be their last year. So I'm not really trying to just overplay a part. I'm playing my role, trying to get set us up for a good position so we could be ready for the season. I feel like with the competition too, like I just feel like we all want to see each other just get better every day. It's not like oh, we're better than this guy. I feel like we're all trying to just build on stack on top of each other and
Was
be
there
one.
was there any running back in the room that was really already as to taking you under your wing, really trying to show you the ropes?
Um, Kyson Brown, Marquise Gillis, those are bigger guys who, they're trying to put me under their wing.
And in terms of just your mechanics, your technique, I mean, what do you feel like you really have been improved on a lot from the beginning of spring practice until the end of it?
Oh, when I first got here, my one of my biggest things was like just holding the linebackers and trying to keep them in the box and not
Mhm.
just make my move so early. So yeah.
In terms of the playbook, I mean, do you feel that it's been a challenge learning the playbook, or do you feel like the coaches do a good job not trying to cram too much down your throat, but just really be deliberate and smart about how much they introduce each and every time?
Yes, sir. I feel like the coaches have been really amazing about how they break up the installs and how we just learn everything. I feel like it makes more sense the way they do it, and the concepts is just they're pretty easy to learn for me
You,
and for me
you,
to.
yeah, you do come across as a humble guy, so maybe this is kind of a hard question to answer, but some of the coaches, Marco Sororo, Sean Aguano, they're pretty much drop some hints and says, yeah, Cardae is not redshirting this year. Um, I know when you hear that, it's probably, I don't know if it's easy or hard for it not to like, get to your head. But do you feel like that's really the confidence that a young player, and any young player really for that matter in your shoes, really needs to have as they start their college career?
Oh, I feel like yes, sir. That does give them a bit of a boost, but I feel like a lot of the players, like I feel like me as a player, I wouldn't care to know that. I just feel like I just want to keep working and just keep stacking. And I'm not really too worried about the outcome. I'm just worried about being in the moment.
Which linebacker in spring practice did you really like? We're not looking forward to facing, as you're running and this guy's coming to tackle you.
Um, Oof, that's a tough question. I'm gonna say either Martell Hughes or Owen Long. They're
Yeah.
really two good sound linebackers. Those are guys who you can tell that just I've sat there next to Owen. He studies the play like his playbook like every single morning.
Mm.
So he's a really strategical guy, and it's hard to game plan against him. So
So let's talk about life off the field. And if I'm not mistaken, you do attend the Barrett Honors College. Is that true?
yes, sir.
Man, I mean, you talk about I don't know what's more daunting, seeing Owen Long closing down for a tackle or taking some of those courses at Barrett. What in your opinion is harder to do?
Ooh, we haven't started the Bear honors classes yet,
Okay.
but from what I've heard, it's a lot. But it's nothing I don't think I can handle.
Mm. But just life in general, off the field. I mean, a lot of people just talk about Tempe, the Valley of the Sun, having a great vibe. That when it's time to just get away from football, this is the place that you really want to be. You've been in the Valley pretty much for 7 months. Would you agree that everything you thought that Tempe and the Valley was going to be off the field is really coming to fruition when you need to get away from the game?
Oh yes, sir. It definitely is. You don't have to. I feel like my biggest thing is I don't have to wake up and check the weather. I know it's gonna be sunny outside. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's really a blessing. I mean, you can go do. There's a lot of things that you could do out here. It's just like being in Texas, honestly.
And would is it be fair to say that just like living a comfortable life off the field can make you more productive on the field?
Yes, sir. I really do believe that. I believe you should have always have time to yourself. You
Mhm.
know, you have time to go enjoy yourself. And I think that's also a really good thing about how we have our schedule lined up. We practice in the mornings and we just get like basically the rest of the day to enjoy ourselves.
Do you feel this team is coming into the season, maybe somewhat as an underdog? A lot of people aren't talking about them, being a contender for the Big 12 championship. And you probably know the story back in 2024, preseason Big 12 poll, picks ASU last. They end up winning the championship. But do you feel that, hearing the coaches, hearing the veterans, maybe talking about ASU entering the season with some kind of measure of disrespect, and that you really want to be motivated to just, first of all, prove it to yourself, maybe prove it to the rest of the world that you're probably much better than people give you a chance.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't listen to any of the stuff online. I couldn't pay attention to it even if I wanted to. But if that's how people feel, it's just only right that we show them that they're wrong.
I know that the schedule for you guys is really interesting, especially with the road games. I mean, you just look at week 2 and week 3, Texas A&M, and then hopping on a plane to going to London. I mean, I know that maybe it's hard not to look forward to that. I mean, you got fall camp, you got workouts, but does that still like when you just sit down for a second and think about that? Texas A&M, not only one of the best teams in the SEC, but a team that some people think that a legit contender for the national championship, top 10 preseason, and then a game in London against Kansas. Is that some of the things that really motivate you, excite you for the upcoming season?
I'm gonna say no. I feel like those are if we prepare for those games, that's gonna just be another game. I don't see those are like as bigger opponents. I see them as just another team that's standing in the way of what we're trying to achieve.
So as fall camp is about a month and a half away, what are some of the things you feel you have to do right, really hit on, in order to really maximize your potential and give yourself as much chance as possible to see the field quite a bit in 2026?
Just keep being me, just keep showing what I can what my abilities can do, and definitely working on more of the pass pro because that could be something that could sneak up on me if I don't work on it.
Okay. Well, Cardae, thank you so much for your time. I will see you in fall camp. Enjoy the rest of the summer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.